Eating bad frozen foods is like being on a coach flight to hell. That's what it's like. You do the thing, and that's what I grew up watching in terms of frozen foods. Now, I've made an incredible sausage rapini pasta bake that you can make a big batch for the family and then freeze a little portion for a later date. Our pasta bake starts with a Mornay sauce, a cheesy bechamel. So we start with 6 tablespoons of butter, melting away slowly and gently here. And I'm actually going to start with a little bit of garlic before I do anything else. So I've got my finely minced garlic into the butter, and you can see the temperature isn't too hot. I'm sweating the garlic out. Every great Italian dish should have garlic, lots of garlic. And you smell it right away, the fragrance of the garlic when it hits the butter. A little bit of salt, of course. And then a normal bechamel usually has nutmeg, but here we're embracing the flavors of sausage and rapini. So I go with a little bit of chili flake to give us that je ne sais quoi instead of nutmeg. And that will sizzle as soon as it hits the butter. So you can see that the garlic is starting to soften. It's not coloring. The chili is waking up. You don't have to use chili. If your kids don't like the extra kick, take out the chili. A little bit of nutmeg there is really nice. But here, I've got the chili, the garlic, my butter is melted, and we're ready to go in with the flour. This is called the sangé, when you add flour to a roux, sangé. So we gently get the flour in there, and you'll notice that I'm using a wooden spoon for this task. I like to use a wooden spoon for this because I can get into the corners of the pot. It doesn't get all clumped up in my whisk. So you can see I'm going in, I'm getting it in the corner, and I'm having a nice blonde roux. I don't want any color on my roux. This is just to thicken the milk that I'm going to add to this kind of spicy Mornay. You can see my roux is still really nice and blonde. If I was making like a gumbo, I would cook the roux for more until it got brown. Maybe I'll cook it even for 2-3 minutes. But here, I want a nice pale cheese sauce. So I'm getting it to the corners, and that's about it. A nice pale roux. You see the flecks of chili, the garlic, the smell of the garlic. It's not sauteed, but it's sweat down, it's soft. That's all we want. And that's going to thicken our Mornay or our bechamel. At this stage, I go in with the milk. I've got my milk here close to room temperature. I don't want to have ice cold milk into my roux. That also will give me clumps. I want a nice smooth Mornay or bechamel sauce here to start. Okay? Whisking at the same time and a nice slow stream also will fight clumps. And you can go in stages here. If you see some clumps forming in the corner, get into your whisk now. Get it going. The wooden spoon has done its job, and now it's time for the whisk. You can see it's already starting to thicken. In cooking, I'm scared of lumpy sauce and salmonella. That's it. You never want to have a lumpy bechamel sauce because you get clumps of flour and butter. And in culinary school, you know, we'd have these chefs come and inspect your sauce. Really take care to whisk your sauce and get into the corners of your pan. No lumps. We've got 4 cups milk here for 6 tablespoons butter and 6 tablespoons flour. Equal parts. Slowly in, fighting the lumps. That'll do it. And look, I'm going to continue to whisk. I'm going to bring it up to a boil. And as it comes up to a boil, it will continue to thicken. As long as I keep whisking here, I won't have any lumps. A nice smooth sauce. So now you can see it's kind of thickening up. Keep in mind also, this mozzarella cheese that I'm going to add will thicken it even more. So I think we're at the stage here where I've got these bubbles starting. I can feel the bechamel is kind of getting thick. And then I'm going to go in with my mozzarella cheese. And you could be versatile here. If you have Parmesan in your fridge, if you have Gruyere, would be delicious. Mozzarella is, of course, kind of a blank canvas cheese. Gives it nice stretch. And look at this. Whisking to get the lumps of the mozzarella out. A great versatile flavor so that really the sausage and the chili and the garlic are front and center. That's why I picked mozzarella, but by all means, get a fancy cheese if you need. Once you see those ribbons, it's nice. It's tight like a sauce. I'm going to pull it off my heat and let it cool for a second because I'm not going to put hot bechamel onto my parboiled pasta. I don't want to overcook the pasta, so I'm going to let this chill out for a second. We're going to move on to the sausage. Now, this is a great trick because if you get a good quality sausage, it's already seasoned nicely, probably with fennel seed, salt, garlic powder, everything. You've got great flavor in a good quality sausage. Take it out of your casing and then just cook it out, let it render out. And you can see here the brown bits are getting deliciously crispy. If I have a larger piece, I'll just kind of break it up. And the reason for that is I'm gonna fold this into my pasta with the other ingredients. I don't want one big giant chunk of sausage. I want every bite in this dish to have equal love, equal sausage, equal rapini, equal red pepper, lots of stuff happening. So we render this all out. I have a bowl here. If you find your sausage is too fatty and you want to drain off some fat, have a little bowl here and drain off some of the fat if you like. There you go. But really, I like to reserve some. Fat is flavor. A great pasta recipe doesn't need more than 4 or 5 ingredients. And the pasta becomes the vehicle for the sauce and the different ingredients that all marry together. So in this recipe, it's no different. We're taking a pasta that will soak up a Mornay sauce, get the sausage, the chili, the garlic, red pepper, and it all marries into one. You don't need 1,200 ingredients. So I've got the pasta. Again, use a big shape. Opt for whole wheat or gluten-free if you want. Just don't overcook it. And now my sauce has chilled a little bit. Just left it at room temperature for a few minutes. I don't want it piping hot because I've been very careful not to overcook my pasta. I'm not going to start cooking it now in hot sauce. So I've got this amazing smooth Mornay with the chili flake. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Give it a little bit of this sauce. If you have some left over, that's okay. Now I've got the sausage here, and you can see, remember, very important to get these crunchy, crispy brown bits. This is the time when you do that. All in. Drain off the excess fat if you like. I'm gonna get it in here. Look at that. Now I'm gonna top it off with a little bit of more mozzarella cheese, okay? Half will go into the bake and then half will go on top so that when I broil it, it gets golden brown and ooey gooey on top. So I'm gonna put half of my mozzarella. Again, get creative with the cheese you have, whatever you got kicking around in your fridge, but mozzarella will give you the beautiful stretch on top, of course. I've got roasted red pepper. If you find a good quality roasted red pepper in a jar, time saver, keep it in your pantry. And this one's already sliced, which is nice. And these are classic Italian flavors. They're always married together. Sausage, red pepper, cheese, of course, rapini or broccoli rabe, a little bit bitter. And you can see I didn't even blanch this. Usually you have to blanch it ahead of time, but it's gonna bake in our pasta, so it saves us time. And it gives us a little bit of bitterness to offset the sweetness of the red pepper, the spiciness of the chili, a really balanced dish. There is a chance your kids might not like broccoli rabe or rapini. It's a little bit bitter. Spinach, broccoli. This is a good time to fold in some green and kids will kind of be confused by all the colors, which is good. So now, spatula time, I'm gonna fold everything in. I don't wanna crush things. I'm not going in with a whisk, okay? I want the texture of the pasta. I want the texture of the sausage. The integrity of the pieces of pepper to stay intact. Ever since we started on the goods, the number one question I ask is, can I freeze it? Can I freeze it? Like I made a salad dressing once and the person in the audience said, can I freeze it? No, some things you shouldn't freeze, Some things, they're just as fresh as possible. But a pasta bake, that's a good thing to freeze. Something that will hold up and not turn to mush when you reheat it or cook it, that's what you should be freezing. So now we're gonna put this into our casserole dish and bake it off. So I take it over here, everything's evenly coated, nice even pieces. The Mornay was on the runnier side to coat everything. Get a few scoops in there until it's easier to tilt in, okay? And here's the great thing about this dish. So here's a big version we can make tonight. Even it out. A little bit more mozzarella on top. And it's a family-friendly cheese. I mean, no kid will say no to mozzarella. And it gives us a good stretch. A little bit of mozzarella on top. And again, here's the best part. I've got some leftover pasta, and I've got this takeout tray here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make individual portions. These I can freeze, and it's always better to freeze a smaller portion than a large casserole like that because it'll take a quicker amount of time. Say I come home late, I'm tired, and I want to just eat for myself. I zap a portion like that. 400 degrees, 25 to 35 minutes. It'll be ooey gooey, cooked through, amazing. Well, it took me 25 years to come around to the idea of freezing dinners and having them on the go. It took becoming a dad and come home tired and you just want to take something from the freezer and zap it and eat something that's actually still homemade. Look at this. It comes out bubbling, cheesy. The rapini has gotten kind of crispy golden brown bits here to match the sausage. We've got flecks of red pepper, the mozzarella cheese pockets, the crispy bits in the corner. This is comfort food at its finest. And if you're an anti-freezer like I used to be, try this pasta bake. I guarantee you it's gonna melt your family's heart. See you later.